Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to tell you that this video you're watching, it's just a clip. You could watch the full episode on our YouTube channel. Also, you could check the whole episode on all platforms where podcast streaming is available.
And then let me tell you another huge marriage problem in dentistry that needs to be solved because it affects your staff too. And that is when I look at 5,000 years of history, the two main giveaway obvious mistakes that no one can argue with is transparency and checks and balances. When I don't know what you're doing, it's very likely it's not going to be good. Like when I was raising my 4 boys, if all of a sudden they each had their own room, but if they all ran into one room and shut the door, I knew something was going on and dad should go peek in the door. And usually it's they got all the Oreo cookies and they went in there and they're going to eat them all. It's the same thing with your staff. Your staff doesn't see the number. So your wife will ask like, well, how much do you get for a crown? And the doctor will say $1,000. Well, you come home and say, well, how many crowns did you do? And you say, I did 5. So she's saying, wow, he just made $5,000. He doesn't know that. You charge $1,000 for a crown, but 98.5% of the American dentists have signed up with these insurance PPOs that set their own fee, and maybe they only get $650 for the crown. They don't get to see the accounting that maybe the doctor has $500 of overhead into that crown, and they only netted $150. And dentists are just their spouse never really sees the accounting, either does the rest of staff. So being transparent. Then the other thing is checks and balance. In business, we call that competition. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when you don't allow your teammates to see the data, to see everything you're looking at, and for their voices to be heard to saying, doctor, I don't really think we need to buy a $135,000 Lanap machine. I don't think we do enough cases. I don't think it's a marketing deal. I don't think it's a good enough decision. And by the way, and these transfer to everything, like take Bitcoin. Like people say, well, Bitcoin's good. Okay, well, what's the first thing about it? Transparency. Do you know who owns Bitcoin? No. Okay, so you're going to put all your money into faith of some person that owns this, and it's probably going to be like North Korea, Russia, China, or a bunch of American criminals. I mean, so you already violated checks and balances, transparency. There's no checks and balances, and when people talk about Bitcoin, how many digital currencies that started are already gone? How many digital currencies are already extinct? I'll Google it. How many digital currencies have already gone away? My gosh, more than 1,000 cryptocurrencies have already failed, and you have no idea who owns Bitcoin, and you can't get that through your head. And that's the same reason you're having marriage problems, because you're not even transparent with your own accounting to your spouse or your team or your office manager. And checks and balances. That's another good thing about group practice. Whenever I find some of the sickest, and I mean sick as a disease, like alcoholism, drug addiction, depression, whenever I find the sickest dentists in the world, the ones that commit suicide, they usually come from solo practice. There is no checks and balance. When you're in a group practice and you come into work and you smell like booze, another dentist can say, hey, dude, hey, come on. No, you're going back home. You're going to bed. But your dental assistant can't do that. She'll risk getting fired. What is your hygienist supposed to do? Your wife's like, oh my God, well, he pays all the bills and we have 3 kids. So you need checks and balances. And that's why I think group practice is great. I think when your partner is doing a recall exam and he takes a bite wing and he sees that crown you did cemented a month ago has an open margin, he can come back to him and say, hey, sorry, dude, but I just told this patient that you got to pop that crown off and redo it. So now the quality of your dentistry is higher. Someone's more likely to stand up to you and face down your demons. It's like Manny Pacquiao. He doesn't want to fight me. He doesn't want to fight me. He wants a competitive guy. He wants to fight Mike Tyson. He wants to go after the top dog. And that's what the one thing I always loved about Manny is he never turned down a fight. And a lot of these people that have perfect records of 30-0, I'm not really impressed with all the line of people they fought. But Manny, That boy don't back down from any fight. He's always going for it. And I still think the hardest fight you'll ever be in your entire life is yourself. It's a lot easier to go raise an army and kill 1,000 other people on the other side of a border than it is to kill all your own fears and demons and bad thoughts and whatever. So, conquer yourself. Don't sit there, and if you have low self-esteem, don't compensate with a big diamond ring and a Mercedes Benz and a big house and fancy jewelry. just find out why you have low self-esteem. You don't need, like my car, my Lexus is 2004 with 180,000 miles on it. I don't need to dump 100,000 into a new car.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, with regards to that, that is also one thing. If we could put like a boxer's record into dentistry, a lot of people are so worried about their records that they're so afraid to take on the tough challenges. And again, that is where you learn. That's where you become better. Is if you go to the tougher challenge, the tougher opponents. That's how you become a better boxer, dentist, lawyer, or whatever work you have. Whoa, that's the end of the video. So cool you finished it. Don't forget to subscribe to all our social media channels, the YouTube channel, of course. Leave a comment, a thumbs up. Like, that helps us a lot. So, I mean, tell us, I want to hear what you think about what you just heard.